It's showtime. Didn't catch me by surprise tonight. Actually took slightly longer than I thought it would to go live, as opposed to catching me by surprise, which it did on Tuesday, if I remember rightly. I don't know. I'm a little worried tonight might be low energy because I'm still not over this cold. It's mostly gone. You probably hear my voice is a bit husky, and I'm going to have to clear my throat, cough occasionally. All the symptoms are way less than they were, but still, I'm fucking tired. And I have been sleeping properly, deeply as well. Just really, like when the alarm goes off in the morning, you're really dragged out of a deep sleep. Don't want to be awake though. Hey, Fox of Fate, the weather, fucking hot. It's hot, so hot. And hello, Luke, and Musical Aviator as well. Hopefully, I won't perspire too much. Hopefully, the air conditioning will see me fine on that. Although the air conditioning in this house is a bit dodgy and trips the circuit breaker if it works too hard. So can't have it as cool as I might like it. Actually set the aircon for anywhere between 3 and 5 degrees higher than I'd like it, just in the hopes that it doesn't overwork and trip the circuit breaker. Luke, you're getting storms and flooding. That's a bonus. I did notice, I saw a headline in a news thing of, the same weather event that's fucking up Australia is responsible for locust swarms in parts of Africa. So that's good. That's another biblical plague. It's not just Australia that's getting end days messages with fire, flood, hail, and devastating winds. Some people are getting the locust plague as well. So that's good. That's a huge plus. That's a massive plus. Oh, Fox, you volunteering to come on? AIDSy's coming on. I think the odds of me wanting more people in the stream as the night goes on are quite high. Because, because I'm going to need the support. Quite honestly, we're like 40 degrees today, mid 40s tomorrow, and then a storm on Saturday. So that's plus. Oh yes, and Justin, of course, besides the high temperatures in Canberra, you've got those scary as fuck fires right on the outskirts of town. What's the latest from the Bureau? 42. Still warm on Saturday, even with the storm, but 32. So that's not as warm as like 42. But then right down to 20. And unbelievably, on Monday, the prediction is only 18 Celsius. It's fucking ridiculous. Going from 42 to 18 in a couple of days. Mind you, Melbourne being Melbourne, I've seen that happen in the same day. Go from well over 40 to under 20 in about an hour. Because that's just the way things are here. Still 35 now. Fucking hell. I think humidity must be about 0. Sebastian, hello. I'm glad you like my shirt. Got it in a lucky dip. But being a Star Wars nerd, I quite like it. And that's with the colors, it's got that whole 70s vibe going on. I'm going to drink my icy apple juice, and it's got slices of lime in it. And I put some lemon in it. It is a refreshing beverage. Like you're saying, I don't know that story is true, Luke. It's possible with the particular sort of masks selling out. I'd be leaning towards the heavy doubt that, it's the Chinese buying it up and sending it back to China. Because people in the news media and social media are prone to make statements like that with no grounding fact. Because I remember seeing the reports, in fact, knowing firsthand the the only masks that are actually effective disappeared from virtually every major city in Australia when the smoke started. You haven't been able to get them in Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra since December or earlier even. So I don't really believe the story that there are no masks because the Chinese are buying them all up and sending them back to China. That's possible. Well, it's funny, like I see people all around town with different masks that are completely ineffective for either the smoke or any influenza virus. So I just think, well, I hope the placebo effect's working for you, because the practical effect of what you're wearing is basically fuck all. The mask you have doesn't fit closely enough or have the right weave to filter out the tiny micro particulate matter that you need to filter out if you want to be less exposed to the bad things. So yeah, all the other masks, the surgical masks, and they're fucking useless. So I mean, if you're sick, wearing one reduces the amount of your germs that spray around, so they can be very polite from that point of view. But from the point of view of stopping you from getting flu virus or filtering out the little particulate matter in the bushfire smoke, most of them are useless. There's really like only one mask on the market that works. And like I said, as far as I knew, they disappeared off the shelves a couple months ago when the bushfire smoke started getting really bad. And they're useless to me anyway, because facial hair means you don't get the right seal, so they don't work. And also, they're very difficult with glasses, as Musical Aviator is saying, because it's got to come up to about here, and glasses don't sit on your face properly if you've got a thing up here. So I just have to accept the fact, even if I had access to the appropriate mask, I probably couldn't wear it effectively. And hello, Miss Foxification. Why did I scratch my arm? I do not know, but I did. So, yes. Oh, that is a good point, Miss Foxification. If you're actually in a very high risk zone, you want your eyes covered as well, because the mucous membrane in your eyes can absorb nastiness. Fortunately, so far, most of us aren't in that environment. And of course, as a few people have pointed out, it's fascinating how much people freak out at these potential pandemics. And look, and as I've said, there's a really good reason to freak out, because we are well overdue for an out-of-control pandemic. And as I said, if there's one even close to as deadly as the Spanish flu that hit at the end of World War I, just before the end of World War I, if something on that scale hit us today, the death toll would be, I mean, conservatively tens of millions worldwide. If it kills as much as the Spanish flu killed, and with everyone traveling so much faster than they did in the early 20th century, let's just have fun and look up really negative. What was the death toll of the Spanish? 50 million. Holy fucking shit. Infected an estimated 500 million people. So what's terrifying, 1/3 of the population was infected by it. That's bad. That's very, very bad. 1/3 of the global population being infected, and 10% fatality rate is fucking terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifying. What's the world population today? Okay, close to 8 billion people, 7.8 billion people, close to 8 billion. So, wow. If we what were those figures? There's a third of the population. So instead of 500 million, that would be 2.5 billion people infected. And if it was 10% deadly, it's 250 million deaths. Bearing in mind, the Spanish flu spread like that when world travel was nothing like it is today. So probably worse. Oh, AIDS came in when I was looking up the Spanish flu. Hello.
Don't count numbers. No one likes numbers. They're a communist plot.
They are a bit. And hi, Dr.
Spanish
Obama.
bloody flu.
Yeah.
Spaniards don't like them. They stole navigation from the English. They shouldn't have done. English had longitude and bloody worked for it. The Spanish came in and said, "Oh, we'll just go. Look at the French who've pretended to know what clocks are, but we know what clocks are because we've pretended to know what an astro. How disgusting! They bloody banned that in Africa."
Yes.
Anyway,
I think, it really was like the Spanish flu had nothing to do with Spain. It was just killing everyone. And everyone said, who do we hate the most? And everyone went, the Spanish. Let's just blame it on them.
Yeah,
the Spanish flu. Okay.
They actually blamed they called it the Spanish flu because one of the actually came from Spain, and the epidemic line went from Spain through to it was Latvia, and they could follow it because they had a lot of army medical people in the area, and they could track it.
Yes.
And so that's why it got called the Spanish flu. And so this was noted early on because the generals thought they wouldn't like their war interrupted very much. Thank you. And then it got fucking seriously interrupted. Spanish flu was going toe-to-toe with the actual war for deaths. Thank you. In a time when travel was shit house. However, at the time, remember, as World War I's going on, and travel was happening on a fairly large scale.
Yeah.
But it was the first time that a travel flu hit the world, and it was the big one. It was like the big quake in the first travel, and we've really been looking for the big one again. However, our friends at Parkville will will help us out. Did you know that the Melbourne Parkville viral centre does World Epidemics, and they have been routinely responsible for about a third of the world supply of epidemic vaccine. They can punch it out real quick once they've got the numbers. So it just interests me that something local is actually fairly important.
Yeah.
You just don't think of anything coming world important. Good. It's like Tron at bloody Clayton Monash University, right? Firstly, nothing in Clayton is important, right? Because it's fucking Clayton. However, you get there and then you get Monash University and you go, well, this has got to be shit because it's in Clayton, right? And you get there and you start sniffing at the place going, Menzies building. Looks like a fucking sail against the fucking westerly winds. Smart move there, kids. Then you look around and there's some dodgy people and some dodgy architecture and more dodgy people. And so I'm talking professors there. And then the women don't know their place. And then you've got this fucking cyclotron. And you go, oh, yeah, this looks like fucking buildings. Looks like a fucking shed. You go inside, there's a pipe in it. Fucking pipe.
Yeah.
Big pipe, though. A pipe that you could walk on. And understand this, they are asked to turn it off when not in use. That motherfucker sucks down terawatts.
That's why we don't all have one in our backyard.
Punch. We really shouldn't have one in our backyard. The kids should not play it in front of the cyclotron. Get away from there, Timmy! Get away from there! Don't. Daddy told you not to touch that. Oh, look at your tongue. It's glowing again. Smacks. Bloody smacks. Now your sausages taste like electricity, don't they? Taste like burning. Anyway, your cyclotron can look into a rock. So it's good. You can look right through a rock and give you a 3D image, usually of a dinosaur inside it or something. Honestly, though, they usually check it out for geological formations to find boring stuff like oil and gold and shit. But you can also do medicines with it because it'll smash right through the crystalline... No, it'll form the crystalline structures of viruses because right through groups of cells and give you... It's like splatting them, at light speed. Can you imagine you're just cruising along in the Starship Enterprise and they put the brake on and you're right at the front wheel, like that, you're in the front window, like a couple of mozzies, oh, fuck, into my day. And that's your virus and it's in its crystalline form. And then all you got to do is take a picture of it. And the cyclotron will even give you a picture. Smashed the virus. It's just a thing. Just a thing. I thought we were talking about Chinese dying.
Yeah. You reminded me of that with the Through the Rock thing. I don't know if you remember The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Fifth Dimension.
Fuck.
Really weird.
And that was shit. It was weird. It was weird. You'd watch it all and go, I'm not sure if that was really cool or wildly fucked.
Yeah. It was trying too hard, I think, was the whole thing.
Oh, definitely. And they didn't know what it wanted to be.
We have a predetermined idea that we want to make a cult film, which is never how a film ends up being cult. People just try to make a film and some magic happens and it becomes cult. But it had Peter Weller, who was RoboCop, the guy who was the original RoboCop. He was Buckaroo Banzai. You just remind me because he had his trans-dimensional drive and he drives this car at high speed straight at a mountain. And just as he reaches the mountain, there's like a like Back to the Future, and he comes out the other side. And then they hold a press conference, and he said, "Yes, I went through the mountain." He goes, "And I'll tell you what, you could grind that mountain down, pulverize every rock, and you'd never find one of these." And he's got like this jelly monster, the trans-dimensional jelly monster he's brought back with him, which is probably literally just something from a jelly mold.
Yeah, more than likely, I imagine. I remember seeing it and going, because it doesn't come back. After he shows it off, it just
shows it once. Yeah,
it's just once. It's this one thing, and you go, "Okay, what is that?" And that's always a trick in a movie. If you see something being dragged out to much acclaim once, you're going, we could be in for shit here. Yeah. All of those blaxploitation films used to do that. What?
Yeah. Was the Anton Chekhov line, the famous Russian playwright, said if there's a gun on the mantle in the first act, it has to go off by the third act.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be shot at some point, mate.
Like, if you're going to do foreshadowing, there's got to be a payoff.
Yeah, fucking oath. I don't know how many times I've seen a gun that didn't go off. Oh, yes. That sounded sexual, didn't it? And I didn't even mean it to.
Yeah. Safa is pointing out you are very pixely tonight, Aidsy. But we got
Thank the audio. Safa. Thank you very much.
The audio's coming through nice.
Well, somehow I don't know how, but microphone is a lot louder, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Everyone loves that. And I'm a bit pixely, Safa, because I am using the webcam inside my laptop, which is about, it's not my laptop, it's actually Angry's laptop, which is about 9 years old.
Yeah, you have to come over at some point and compare it to another. Maybe I have a spare laptop that is better than that one.
Do you want me to move the fucking thing, as in like move it from its location?
Oh, is that
it will fucking die.
Okay.
I haven't turned it off for 3 years for fucking fear that it won't go on again.
I'll check if I've got a better laptop here.
Thanks, man.
I'll see if there's a
dude.
laptop here.
You know, every fucking couple of days, the screen goes blue and says, "You know, Windows 7 isn't supported anymore, don't you? You are across that, aren't you, AZ? There's no antiviral or any of that, mate. You are on your fucking own here, son. Do you get that? Yeah. You are going to."
You are
Russian terrorists. Am I breaking up badly? I'm just trying to get fucking settled.
Yeah. No, the audio was breaking up there. No, I mean, dude, because I work in corporate IT, and the number of times I've been in places and going, well, what can we do to continue to have the Windows 2003 server running, even though Microsoft stopped supporting it literally 10 years ago? And is there anything important on it? It's like, just all the core corporate systems are running on an infrastructure that hasn't been supported for 10 years. And it's like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah. And they'll also say shit like, all our client data and IPs on it as well. And you're going, fucking kill me. So you just want to give it away, do you? Yeah. No wonder why the Chinese own our shit.
Exactly. I mean, international banking is not literally, but figuratively held together with fucking paddle pop sticks, rubber bands, and wishful thinking. They're like, well, it hasn't
sticky tape and chewing gum.
Yeah.
It's all chewing gum and sticky tape, and it's all fucked. Basically, I got taken through the process of sending money from the Western world to the Eastern world. Eastern Europe. Slavic, right? Yeah. And then to China, which happens a lot when you get your Russian oligarch in London. The process that I was shown was terrifying, fucking terrifying. If you were aware of something happening, like a big bank transfer was going on, and you had a modicum of encryption understanding, you could just steal fucking everything as it came through. Yeah. There's like so many break points, and this is in banking worldwide. There are so many, because you hear, it's fucking encrypted and safe, and you look at these docos and they go, encryption's really tough. And then you hear this stuff, there's a fucking what do they call it? It's not a bug, it's some form of sort of entry point in a program. I remember it. They talk about these. So are you a backdoor or all these high-end mathematical constructs that you need to make this go? It's fucking bullshit. There's fucking staff sitting out there on not the deep web, but the fucking normal web that is basically going, I'm a door for this engineer to get into the top layer of, and you get into the top layer and it's fucking everyone's passwords. And you just go, why? Why did you bother? Why did you bother with any of this? And it's just, and this is happening everywhere. This is all over the place. You just fucking go and look. You don't need a fucking computer science degree, just fucking patience.
Yeah,
I've got to glue my teeth in.
Yeah, there's a type of attack that has a really high success rate that's just colloquially called a door rattling attack, and it's the equivalent of walking around to shops and warehouses and testing all the door handles to see if someone's forgotten to lock one.
Because and there's always one.
There's always one. There is always one.
Fucking, I stopped myself going to jail as a very young teenager. I was 13 by doing the doorknob test. Because me and someone who might have been a weapon were walking around and we opened and thought we'll come back to it later because we're intelligent. And we wandered on, and then there was a couple of security guards, and they were yelling at us, and they wanted to beat us up. And then we ran around the corner really fast, and then we opened the door and hid. And they ran around looking for us, and they couldn't find us. And we were all, we're in the door. Can we steal stuff? No. It's very large agricultural equipment. Why do you need very large agricultural equipment in Canberra? There's no fucking farms. So we were pissed. Like, we'd managed to get in this door and there was nothing to fucking, By the way, I was also going to fucking point out, with your counting and fucking numbers and shit, that I know how to bring that shit to an end, because in the golden era of Islamic science, which would be in the same dark era of Western Christian life, the medieval period, the end of the golden era of Islamic science came about because a commentator on the Quran said, mathematics is the tool of the devil, and it shut that fucker down within a generation. It was gone. And it's a fucking salutary lesson. You want to fuck your science off, just let your clerics get in charge. Looking at you, America. Looking
I was about
at
to say, like the fundamentalist Christians in America.
I don't know. I've been looking at a lot of DeGrasse Tyson lately and getting scared. Backdoor man, AZ. Glee Girl Oz. Yeah, I am a backdoor man. You're right. You're right. There's just no getting around it.
I just thought you'd like that one.
You just fucking, just say yes.
Just go with it.
What was? Oh, just say no. That's what it was. It was just say no to
drugs.
That was
the Nancy Reagan drugs thing. Just say no.
Just say no. Okay, Nancy.
Everyone else having fun, getting high, having a good time. You should just say no. Why? Because the boring old white lady who looks like a walking corpse says so.
But what was always fun was Nancy Reagan would do her just say no. And she was clearly bombed out of her fucking mind. She was clearly off her fucking guts, off some kind of mother's little helper. And at the time when Ronnie went senile, now this is a thing, ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Reagan was held up as Christ cometh again with us, because effectively what he did was he spent a lot of infrastructure money on the military. Woohoo. And the next thing he did was he spent a lot of service money on the military. And the whole point of it was that the Soviets had to spend dollar for dollar what the US was spending, and they fell over economically. Yay! They won the Cold War. So Ronald Reagan's gone, he's the fucking man with 3 dicks because he won the Cold War. Yay! Without a shot fired. Yay! He was a fucking idiot. He basically let AIDS escape in the United States, which is, if you actually look at the structure of the United States, is a fucking magic to do that, because it's actually very difficult to do. Let AIDS escape in the United States, put back the cause of racism and fucking rainbow movement 30 years, basically reignited the fundamentalist cause, and they took over America. Within 10 years, it was all over. God was almost dead. People don't understand this. No one fucking gets this. But in the late 70s right, opened up to themselves and didn't need a fucking imaginary friend, right? It was almost over. And then HIV/AIDS came out, and fucking God came storming back. And the hate and the fear and the hate mongers fucking came fucking stonking home. All of politics in the English-speaking world screamed off to the right, and science took a back seat. And what the other thing that happened with Ronnie Reagan, and fuck him, he did a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
He fucked over science, which was bad. Bill Clinton pay for it, which I just thought was the rudest thing I've ever seen. So what am I talking about? Oh, look, there's a lot of nuanced argument, but basically what he did was he put a lot of landmines and fucking hand grenades in the future that Bill Clinton had to run over. He was just throwing stuff into the future. Yeah. Fucking your problem, like all fucking politicians do that are on the right.
Yeah.
And he basically spent the fucking farm, and everyone says, "Oh, he's so brilliant." He's not. He wasn't. He spent up big on money he didn't have, and put the debt into a worse situation than it is now. People don't know this. People don't remember this. Fucking Ronnie Reagan did more debt fucking injury than fucking even his dickhead fucking grandson, Bush too. And then he went senile in office, and everyone lied about it. Everyone bullshitted, and effectively Nancy, the wife, was running the fucking United States for the last 8 months of that fucking administration. And they try. Hey?
Acting under the guidance of an astrologer.
Yes, acting under the guidance of fucking astrologer. She was fucking effectively the president. They try to fucking go, oh no, that's just a conspiracy theory, that never happened. All you need to do is go and look at fucking media clips of that guy in the last 2 years of his office, and you can see him just fucking. You can see him collapse. You can see him just fucking descend in his mind. He's gone. There's nothing there. They propped him up and gave him maybe 4 lines. Fucking camera away. Lines, camera away. It was no fucking straight speech or fucking appearance. It was more than a sound bite for like a year. Anyway, you were saying?
Oh, and of course he got shot, and he got shot quite seriously, and he suffered brain damage because of oxygen deprivation to the brain. It was a combination of Alzheimer's kicking on and the brain damage he suffered when he was shot, and they all lied and said it wasn't happening. After the fact, a whole bunch of key people have admitted this is true, but at the time they all lied and said it wasn't happening. But as Azy says, you can see it. And if you want a bit more detail about why Ronald Reagan was shit and the religious right, as Azy said, they weren't very powerful. One of my favorite podcasts that I mention a lot on here, Behind the Bastards, relatively recent. I think they were both last year. There's one on the Reagans and how they fucked up the AIDS crisis and are directly responsible for tens of thousands of deaths. And the other one was the rise of Jerry Falwell and the religious right. And they're both fascinating because they cross over. Jerry Falwell really, really came into his own during the Reagan years. And initially, the evangelicals didn't like Reagan because he was a Hollywood type who had fags for friends.
That's right. That's right. My God, what's going to happen with this fucking Hollywood fag? Even though he was very right-wing and showed everyone he was very right-wing.
He was economically and in terms of communism, very right-wing, very anti-communist.
Oh, very, very anti-communist. He and the Pope, it was funny, he and the Pope got on like a house on fire. He, the Pope, what's the name? Baroness, Prime Minister Thatcher. Thatcher, Reagan, the Queen, which helps, and I don't know who we just said, all got on very well. Was this right-wing clique of humanity that was burning down the world. You can virtually say that the climate crisis started to kick in. I know this is ridiculous, right? Because it's been happening for a long time at this time. The name was the communists are going to start a massive nuclear war. We're all going to die. So dance until they turn the lights off. This was the very rich people. Everyone else can fucking lose their economy as we shut you down and die. And just ask the people in the north of England about this time. Ooh. I've been there. I've actually been there, and it is still a shithole. Basically, because you suck all of the primary production of economy out of a place, and it just becomes welfare town for generations. And these places are horrid. You've also seen the fucking social housing. It's just basically, bit of chipboard and cement to stick it together. You go to these places in north of England and they're run down fucking social housing. They're putting social housing over social housing. It's fucking horrible. These places are falling down. These tower blocks of shit are falling down. Basically all caused by this mentality of burn it down, run, take the money and go. And this, even though war, kept going. It was like quick, burn everything as fast as you can, because the rich need to make some money. It's going to fucking it's all going to go. And this same frenzied attitude of burn it, quick as you can, is going on today. These guys are running on a sea of cash, and their decisions are horrendous. But because they're riding on a sea of cash, nothing touches the corporation. Nothing touches them. If you want to see something fucking stupid, executive operation, that's fucking stupid. If you've ever had to blow them or sell them drugs, you'll fucking know how stupid these motherfuckers are. Because you'll see someone in a suit and you get all intimidated, right? You go, ooh, they must be cleverer than me. They're in a suit.
It's like a uniform. Yeah.
They're in a suit. They're clearly got a salaried job. They're smarter than me. They went to a better university than me. They didn't. And fucking, clearly they're better than me. Then you actually get to understand these people, and you just know that they're thugs in fucking rayon. Effectively, these individuals aren't smart. They're just sly. And they up to the top. They're ruthless. And they say business is war. Bullshit. It's only war internally. They hack their way up inside. That's where the vicious fight goes on between organisations. It's actually quite collegial. You're actually making bonding relationships. Is actually the best way to do business. And a boss of the house is in a process right now of teaching some kiddies about building relationships and sodomy. But anyway, your Reagan basically killed off your life. It was a change of lifestyle, and people don't understand this. That the end of communism, because that's what everyone looks at, is the down comes the wall, and the war's over, and yay. And yes, it was a yay thing, and it did free up a lot of people, and that was a good thing. The Catholic Church realised that they've got to stop burning all their own cash, because the Pope at the time, and he wanted communism out. The Polish rebellion started the whole insurrection moves in the West Bloc, and he spent almost all of the Catholic Church's money on Poland. He spent so much dough. We're talking about $3 billion in 1978. Okay? That's a birth in 1978.
This guy, Karol Wojtyla, a.k.a. John Paul II, was a young lad when Russia invaded Poland. So he's got a real fucking chip on his shoulder about the communists from a really understandable point of view. So when
he's got
there was
a bug
the
up his ass because he's a Catholic.
was it Solidarnosc, Lech Walesa?
Solidarnosc.
Yeah.
That
was the start of liberation.
Fucking Lech Walesa was a genius. He's he's the man. You should Google him. He's probably got a wiki. But anyway, so he spent all of the fucking Catholic Church's money on Poland while Islam was taking over the top of Africa, cutting off the bottom of Africa, because you've got a big desert in the middle, cutting off the bottom of Africa from any kind of realistic Christian support and any kind of realistic Christian help and technology or science. It's very fucking important. And you're effectively spinning the economy and the sociography and all the rest of that stuff out of shape for the next 300 years, and people don't get it. We have come at the precipice of a schism in history. This will be the change in history that will be noticed. People will go, oh, it went from there to there, and then the climate change wars began at the middle of the 2100s or the 2000s. Reagan was at the center of it all. The Pope was at the center of it all. I mean, it sounds like a fucking conspiracy theory today. It's like great, You make a fucking wonderful fucking plane with foil coloured writing and very stern looking Americans in front of the White House. In front of the Capitol. That book, that gets turned into a movie later. It's like got either a Baldwin or Denzel Washington in it. You know the movie I'm talking about. It is that movie, and it is a strange tale. And people's lives are very, very affected by it. People's lives are very, very affected by World War II. People's lives are very, very affected by the moon landings. I know that sounds strange, but a lot of our money comes from the moon landings.
Yeah.
And people's lives are very, very affected by the decisions of Thatcher and Reagan. And that sounds dumb, but it is. It's really fucking, you'd be amazed how it all links up together. And it's not evil people making evil plans, I fucking own the world. It's none of that. It's just people making simple decisions in front of them. Reagan just wanted to kill communism. Thatcher just wanted to kill the unions and make capitalism run rampant in the UK so that they could change the tax base and get the class structure back again. The Pope just wanted to kill communism in Poland. The Muslims just wanted to fucking proselytize their own religion next door, and next door becomes next door and becomes next door. Muslims aren't the amazing science beasts that they should be, and fuck, they should be. You want to see go and look at the golden age of Islam. Amazing science, like fucking just the philosophies of science at the time.
Yeah, where we
fucking
get
sensational.
And the abstracts of mathematics, like algebra,
algorithm.
Algebra would probably get banned in American schools if they knew it was literally sourced from the Islamic scholars, and it is what language? I was about to say probably the wrong language. Is that Arabic or something else?
Arabic, yeah. It's Arabic. Well, it's also unfortunate that we use Arabic numerals. I think the fundamentals should fucking get onto that, and we should get our Arabic numerals pissed off out of there. Although obviously they're wrong.
Little bit of trivia, because I looked up the history of that.
Isn't it?
Our numerals are completely different to the Arabic numerals, but the base 10 counting system was Arabic, and our numerals ended up looking extremely different. But we still call them Arabic numerals because it's based on the mathematics system developed by the Islamic scholars.
Yeah. The mathematics was fucking amazing because remember, these guys aren't using computers; they're just using fucking pens and pencils, right? If they were lucky, they'd met the Chinese and could use a I don't know what it's called.
Abacus.
No, abacus. You know?
I've said it several times.
Thank you very much. My fucking earphones aren't quite fucking on board, but I am trying to listen. And they aren't turned up. If you the Chinese and the Arabs were cross trading, which is where we get the Silk Road from. And so, if things were a little bit different, like if one dickhead hadn't made one edict, you'd have Arabs and Christians running around the world in jet cars and spaceships. Because remember, if the Arabs hadn't crashed down when they did, the science traditions of the Romans would have kept going. The Europeans wouldn't have crashed so hard, and fuck me, did they crash? And so we wouldn't have had 800 years of religious dictatorship and no increase in physical or mental science. I mean, there was also kinds of religious apology going on, but it does fuck all and goes nowhere. All it did was fucking choose who could use words and what words they could use. Ask the Catholic Church how many words they burned in the 1300s. Interesting fucking tale, that. And so, you've got 800 years of science ahead of we're on Mars. We'd be going out into the galaxy. I'd be being blown by
if we had various hundreds of years.
I'd be being blown on a holodeck. It'd be great. Can you let me glue my teeth back together? And
I'll come back? Would be.
Thanks, man.
Okay, you're going to disappear for a moment and glue your teeth?
Just a sec, and I'll just
very
you know.
Yes.
I'm going to do that.
Yes.
And I'm going to do that.
You're going to go do that. All right. So he'll be off. So no, now might be a good time, halftime, cocktail time. I found one. I'm going to try and do a version of it. It's a traditional New Orleans cocktail. I don't quite have these ingredients, but I can improvise. I like to improvise. It's called a Bywater, and it's it's rum, and then it says Amer Picon, which is apparently a French bitter aperitif. I can improvise something with that. Green chartreuse, which I have, Falernum, which I have, and bitters, which I have. I reckon I can make that. I've never tried to make that one before, and I'm going to approximate a Amer Picon. I think if I do, because it's like a herbal aperitif, and I've got a few herbal things I could. I could do a bit of even. Actually, what I could do is I've got Amaro, which is an Italian bitter. I could do that and lighten it a bit with something else. What could I lighten it with that's also bitter? Aperol. I could lighten it with Aperol. That's what I could do. So if you're asking me, is religion not compatible with science? If religious clerics, as in a religious hierarchy, attempts to gain political power, science will become a problem for them. I think it's not so much that religious people have a problem with science. I think it's people who want to use religion as a base to build power from. They will have a problem with science because they are best served by people remaining ignorant. And science tends to liberate people somewhat. So I think it's not so much religion that has a problem with science, because, as we're saying, Islamic scholars up to a certain point were pioneers of science. Christian scholars, particularly, what were the monks called? They're a Catholic offshoot. Now it's doing my head in that I can't remember them, but they were scholars. But at different times, when the heads of religions want political power, science will suffer as a result, because they see science as a threat to their hold over ignorant people. And so, did Scummo do this? Well, Scummo belongs to fundamentalist evangelical doomsday cult, so science is not going to be his friend, really. It should be more openly and more explicitly stated more often that Scummo is part of an absolute fucking lunatic fringe end days Armageddon cult, because it's really fucking bad if someone like that is the guiding hand on government policy. It's just bad, essentially. So the Liberals generally have brutally cut funding to science just because, I don't see the payoff to it. All those fucking commie scientists telling us climate change is going to kill us. And so sacked a bunch of scientists who then went and worked for people like Elon Musk. So a whole bunch of and I mean a lot of extremely good scientists that Australia spent millions of dollars educating have just fucking left the country and got really high-paying jobs somewhere else because of the absolutely absurd, short-sighted policies of the Conservative parties in Australia that have taken Australia away from being like leading edge in science to being a fucking backwater where a significant majority of fucking science is just being killed. And you speak about ads. Well, I think it depends how you define whether Scummo's in a Pentecostal church or an evangelical church, but it's a shit church. And people keep saying, like, oh, it's not in a Hillsong anymore. It's just, oh, get fucked. That's just cosmetic. The scumbag founder of Hillsong, who is still under police investigation for how he handled the fact that his father was sexually assaulting children in the congregation. That guy's still Scummo's spiritual advisor, much like, you know, Tony Abbott was all but married to fucking Catholic Archbishop George Pell, who's a fucking child rapist and protector of child rapists. And it's just contemptible, these people. I was just looking at lyrics of an old song I remember band used to listen to back in the 80s, the Matt Johnson, and one of the lesser known later songs is called Armageddon Days Are Here Again. But the chorus goes, Islam is rising, the Christians are mobilizing, the world is on its elbows and knees, it's forgotten the message and worships the creeds. And that's the problem. That's my biggest problem with organized religion in the world today. I'll make jokes about imaginary friends in the sky and whatnot, but if someone wants to believe that there's some mysterious cosmic force making sense of everything, good on them. They're wrong, but if that helps them get through the day, fine. It's the organized religions that focus the worship on the creed and not the actual message. As I've said this so many times, an even cursory reading of the Bible would make it extremely clear that all these right-wing Christian organizations in the US, Australia, everywhere, they go straight to hell. It's actually explicitly in the New Testament. Their hypocrisy, their judgment of other people, and just being rich. There's literally an unequivocal story. It's easy. Jesus said it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Oh, I think Azy's coming back. Azy's coming back. There he is. Wait, no, wait. There he is.
A rich man can get into heaven if you understand Ecclesiastes, and then get into some Leviticus, and get into Jeroboam, the touch me monkey. And I was reading the Faborohimes, chapter 21, verse 16, and it went, "Fuck you, motherfucker! Give me some cash. And the Lord saith a tithe."
Yeah, I did actually see a good cartoon once. It was like in an anarchist pamphlet and talking about religion and wealth and whatnot. And it's got Jesus going, "It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven." And the next frame is bishops with a giant novelty needle labeled Vatican brand needles, saying, look, camel, straight through here.
Vatican brand needle.
Slip us a few dollars and we'll get straight through here.
Going straight in, mate. There you go. The eye of a needle. I remember some fuck trying to say the eye of a needle was the eye of the needle was a gate into it was either Damascus or Jerusalem, and it was so small that you had to really push to get a camel through the eye of fucking bullshit.
No,
you know,
just at the eye of a needle.
The eye of a fucking needle, mate. It's fucking, push a camel through that, you cockhead. You know,
so a lot of something. You keep going.
No worries. When you read a lot of the New Testaments, a lot of what Christ says quite unequivocally is very robust, very straightforward, and very hippie. As in, it's very communal, it's very welfare, and it's very tribal. If you wanted to put it together like a political manifesto, it's easier to do that than it is to put it together as a religious, criable. And if you think about it in the form of political manifesto, what you basically got is a rebellion culture, a rebellion ethos, where you've got basically Christ saying, don't listen to the bullshit, be good to everybody, and don't let the bastards grind you down. And effectively, you read it like that, it's like, yeah, Christ, you know some stuff. But, you start saying stuff like that, they nail you. You're making a cocktail?
I'm making a cocktail.
Tell me
like the name of it's called a Bywater, which is name of one of the Hobbit towns in the Lord of the Rings.
What?
It's a traditional New Orleans cocktail, apparently.
Mm.
I'm just double checking the ingredients. Chartreuse piquant. Okay, this is going to be a wild old concoction. I'm sure you're on board with that. With me making. I'm
on board with wild old concoctions, matey. I'm a wild old concoction kind of a guy.
Yeah, it's a concoction, not cock, but yes.
Whatever you got to do, man.
Whatever you got to do.
Get yourself through the cocktail.
Yeah. All right. So we're putting some rum in this jobby.
Yeah.
Rum-a-dum-dum. Bit of the amber rum.
An amber rum, not a white rum or a dark rum, but an amber.
It was actually Sailor Jerry. It was on special. Some people are really snobby about what rum to get and what bourbon to get, and I'm going, I get the one that's on special. I mean,
I was going to say, get the one with a sticker that Says good.
I won't go
Sticky
for
fizz.
really cheap shit. The stuff that tastes like you're drinking paint stripper.
Yeah, but I
although
like remembering high school and university.
when I get my cocktail channel up and running, one of the challenges we're going to do is the water filter challenge, because there's a theory that if you buy a horrific, nasty, cheap vodka and put it through like a Brita water filter enough times, it actually ends up tasting good.
Okay. I'm up for that. I'll go with you on that one.
I thought you might. So this one, so it's rum falernum, which is kind of rum's cousin. It's another Barbados drink. See, this is falernum from Barbados. What does it say about it? Barbados in a bottle. Exotic aromatic liqueur was invented on the island in the early 1800s. Natives made it at home by steeping lime, ginger, almonds, and cloves in Barbados rum. So it's basically, it's a flavored rum, essentially.
Yeah.
And
I'm not fucking 100% fucking sold on the natives did all this and it was all very no, fucking some fucking distiller's gone, I think this will taste nice. We'll flog it to the natives.
Well, either that or
we being the natives.
The only rum they were able to get was absolutely sort of gross shit rum. And again, it gets you pissed, but it's pretty rank, isn't it? And I think they probably had it in the bathtub and going, well, maybe if we mix this with it, it would be okay.
Much like London gin.
Yeah.
Well, this is shit. But if we put this in and that and this, stir
prison
it.
Toilet booze. It's like
Prison toilet booze. Fucking, I think the world has been taken forth on prison toilet booze.
Yeah.
I don't know how to back that up with any kind of argument. Because all I can think of now is a meth lab, because that's the next prison toilet booze is your meth lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How you going? You racing along okay?
Yeah. I've just got to add some bitters and then I'll do a taste test.
I love it when you're off camera because I can do whatever I want. I'm taking my clothes off now. It's beautiful. Look at that. Swinging around.
God. Look at that. All right. So, this is one of my 10
I
sorts
sat down
of
and put them on again quickly.
bitters I have. This is actually an Australian-made one. See if you can see it. Mr. Bitters. This is their Negroni-inspired bitters. So it's slightly...
It's racist.
It does. I've got to be really careful because, one of the most trendy cocktails at the moment, probably the two trendiest, that you see most often, trendy cocktails are the Negroni and the espresso martini. And I fucking hate both of them. I hate the espresso martini because I hate coffee. So I hate an espresso martini because it's got coffee in it. And fucking the main ingredient of I was going to say it wrong, Negroni. Just for a second, I was going to say it wrong. And the main ingredient of Negroni is a bitter Italian thing. Oh God, what's it called again? Ugh, God, I'm tired. Why can't I remember it? It's Aperol is a milder version of it. This is also an Italian bitter. Aperol's milder. Fucking hell!
I actually love
how brain functions are gone.
I love how Angry just brings on the next bottle of anything, like anything at all. And this is Double X brandy from the French Revolution. And now we've got a nice bottle of Chianti and some fava beans.
Campari. Sake. I just
Campari. There you go, mate. I knew if I talked shit for long enough, you'd come up with it.
Adele and Elisa both knew it was Campari. I just cannot come at Campari. It's just, I have other bitter drinks here. There's something and Mrs. Angry agrees. We go out for dinner and cocktails a lot. And because everyone's pushing Negronis. One place actually called themselves Negroni Specialists, and they had like 3-4 variations. We've given it a go all these times, and just no. So me and fucking Campari is a big no. But yeah, other bit of stuff's fun. So now's a taste test because I've never made this before, and this is my own slight variation on a Bywater. Oh, it's got quite the rich aroma going on. So it's rum, falernum, which is rum's cousin, cream chartreuse, which is a bit of a mean herbal liqueur, 50% alcohol, and a few more bitters, Aperol and Amaro. Amaro is a dark bitter liqueur, and Aperol's a light red bitter liqueur, and a couple dashes of actual bitters. So here's the taste test. What's this? So it's got sweetness from rum and falernum, and herbal from chartreuse, and bitter from the Amaro and Aperol and the bitters. So it should be balanced. It should be balanced. It's got all those things. And it's a lovely amber color. It is a really nice color. Every now and then I do one, and particularly on camera, it looks like dirty dishwater. And I'm like, that's not very appealing, is it?
I think we've failed this one now. Mind you, every now and then you do a lovely blue. How's it taste?
It's good.
It's good?
It is good.
Heaven in a glass? Heaven in a glass?
Yeah, again, you have to like bitter. This has got a bitter edge on it from the Amaro.
Yeah, but you know, if you're up for bitter, I mean, I'm not up for bloody any of that licorice stuff, but people love your
I don't know if you caught it at the end of Tuesday night when I went, I've made a terrible mistake. I made the cocktail near the end of the stream. I meant to put a splash of absinthe in it, and well, you know, the best laid plans and all that, and it was at least a shot. It was like a really healthy shot, and I'll often use like my shot glass to make sure I don't overdo it. Okay? But I just tipped straight from the bottle, and I was like, oh god.
I seen you rip it back, and I thought, oh, hello, fucking, and you didn't look real fucking happy with yourself.
This is 85% alcohol, so a shot of that is more than a double. So it's probably, with the volume, it was actually close to a trip. I'd already made the cocktail, and I just wanted a splash of absinthe for flavor, and then I basically added a triple shot to it, and I drank it relatively quickly. It was
you're going to bed.
I mean, the absinthe was overpowering everything, but it was still pretty good. But I went to bed not long after drinking this thing that was, I don't know, 5 fucking measures of alcohol or something, and so I went to bed, and I remember I woke up. It was about 3 a.m, and Mrs. Angry's been having some trouble sleeping, so occasionally during the night I'll wake up and she's not there. I'm not sure if I woke up and heard noises, or noises woke me up because she was out in the kitchen. But I woke up and I heard noise in the kitchen. She wasn't there. I went, oh, and I just checked the time. It was 3 a.m. And I thought, I'm awake now, I'll go and take a piss. And I got out of bed and took a couple steps. And this is 3 a.m., right? So this is 5 hours after the stream. And I get up and go, oh, still pissed.
Yep, wobble, fuck.
And so I really rocked off to work. Like, my alarm goes off at 6:15. And I had a shower, and I got dressed, and I went off to work. The whole way going, this is not the best idea I've ever. I wasn't hungover. Tummy was a little bit upset, and I was tired. And because there was still the residual from this cold as well, which has been making me feel tired.
You toddled off to work like a good little soldier, but he went, this is not the time. This is not an appropriate thing to be doing.
Friday afternoon, I was fine. Not a great morning.
I had a day like that today, actually. I got up and went, I've got several things to do. And then someone told me it was 39 degrees now.
Yeah, and it's 40-2 or 43 tomorrow.
42 or 3 tomorrow, and storm around this city like a fucking blue fly, and I'm just going, I don't want to do that. Yeah. I really don't fucking want to do that. First 3 things I've got to do tomorrow morning are all spread apart, significantly spread apart by geography, and I've got to get them done like within an hour, and I'm on PT, right?
Yeah.
And if I get everything done correctly, I will be done by 12. That'll give me just enough time to race home before the worst of it hits. If I fuck up, I will be coming home at 3 p.m.
Yeah. Well,
right
that's
in the
42 by 3
balls
p.m. Yeah.
sorry?
42 by 3 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, right in the balls of the worst of it. I am physically unable to handle that kind of temperature. Bad things happen to me. I have a good fucking chance of being in it tomorrow. And if I am, good chance you won't see me till Thursday.
No. Yeah, it's gonna be 30 by 10 a.m. and by 1, 2 at the latest, it'll be hitting 40. So it's not a great day tomorrow.
1, 2 at the latest. If I can really nail it and get home, I'll be out 38, 37, 38.
Yeah.
But once it starts to hit 40, I'm fucked. There's really no alternative for me. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Anyway, why would I be talking about temperature? I have always found that that hangover you have when it's 45 degrees is way worse than the one you have. You can drink even more if it's -4 tomorrow morning, and you won't die. But if it's 45 degrees and you're waking up with a bit of gurgly tummy vomit, you're not going to be a well puppy. I had one of those when I was shooting a film and I was supposed to be acting in it. And the first thing I did in the morning, as we were all rolling down to the first shot, was I hurled all over the ground, and everyone saw it, and there was no getting around it. And I just ignored it and fucking went on with the shoot. There was no water to be had for 6 hours. I didn't feel very good.
Okay, not great at all.
So, we discussed this on New Year's.
Oh, that's just about me not liking Campari, and because I probably told the story of when I ordered Campari on a date trying to be sophisticated because I thought I liked it. And it's just, and I just had it straight, and it is just the most bitter thing. And I don't know why I thought I liked it, but I thought I did. And then it's a case of trying to chat up this lovely lady, and it's like,
Did you drink at uni?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because the drink at uni was Goon. And
it's really cheap wine. Yeah.
It's very cheap wine. It's called Flagon. It's Flagon. Flagoon. And the Goon was in fact banned because too many people were going blind. And then they brought it back after the chemical formula was changed. Believe me, Goon is a chemical formula. It is not. A grape has never been near Goon wine. No natural fruit or fermentation process has fucking happened near a Goon wine. It's all come out of a very big steel tank.
They call it fruity Lexia. They wouldn't lie to me if it wasn't fruity. I think what
is Alexia?
It's the fruity bit is like apple peels and stuff. It's not actual apples. It's apple peels that are put in the big fermenting drum.
I think the fruity bit is conversation.
Fruity conversation.
I think the fruity bit is, it's fruity conversation. And, they even say fruity Lexia. What the fuck is a Lexia? There is no dictionary definition of Alexia. This is the fucking word they've made up to say big steel tank of chemicals we put in to make children get pissed. Because that's what we were pretty much. I tell you, I fucking got to uni at 17 years old and thought I was the most sophisticated adult there was. Give me some Goon. No. Turns out I wasn't. I'm having technical difficulties, but I shall soldier on as I am wont to do. And yeah, they had this goon wine. It was fucking awful. But it'd get you pissed, and your root would look better. And I was your root. So I appreciated goon wine. Jesus, I got attacked over goon wine a few times.
Goon wine will do that to people.
Lovely lasses would come up to me and then fucking drag me away, and I'm going, where are we going? Come on, you. I've been looking at you for a while. And so they'd claim their prize and take me off.
It's kind of like, and it would lead to the classic Australian party game if you had a backyard with a Hills hoist of Goon of Fortune, which for those who don't know, you've missed out. But it's basically, first you have to know what a Hills hoist is. It's a rotary clothesline. It goes around and around. And so everyone stands around the Hills hoist, and you hang the bag of goon off one of the arms of the Hills hoist, and then you spin the wheel. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
All right. Angry. We've got to...
In front of you, you have to chug the goon.
Chug the goon.
Yeah.
So there's two things here, right? We've got the flagon, which is a bottle, right? Looks like a water keg.
Yes.
But much cheaper and nastier, right?
Yeah.
You've got the flagon, which is a bottle. Also, in the 1970s in Australia, they invented boxed wine, right? Which is a cardboard box, literally a cardboard box with a silver bag in it, plastic silver-lined bag, with aluminium-lined, but silver-lined bag with a tap. And it fits like bladder-like in the box, and you pour into glasses this wine, which is cheapest, nastiest shit you've ever seen. But the 70s Australia loved it. And the other thing you could do is hold the box up and pour it straight in your mouth, or you could rip the bag out. Take gently the bag out of the box, and do anything with it, and then pour it straight into your head. And the Goon of Fortune was a brutal game, and you didn't just have to have 4 players. You could have 16 players. You could have 22 players. And because there was no mouth-to-mouth contact, the goon went very fast. The other variation of the game was you didn't just have to have one goon. You could have 8. Because remember, it's a Hills hoist. Those fuckers can lift cars, right? When your mum puts out the washing, a house could go, because that's just Australian technology. And so effectively you could have 22 goons, or 16 goons around. And so wherever the Goon of Fortune stops, whoever, so kids drinking every time it stops, and it's like, after a while you're just going, it's hurt me. And that was me being sophisticated. In university.
I looked up while we were talking about this. I think I want to share with everyone a 70s ad for Lindeman's cask wine.
Thank Christ.
Trying to make cask wine look sophisticated.
You make me smile, Dr. Lindeman's. You make me smile.
God, you remember it. Oh my God. It's a part of our cultural heritage.
Fucking nice.
Right. Look, I'm going to show you all. This was Australia trying to class up really shitty wine. So, Dr. Lindeman. Oh, 70s mustaches and hair. There it is. Oh, look.
There it
Flagons
is.
or casks.
Oh, you fucking beauty. The traditional. Traditional. Bring happiness to man. The one purpose of wine is to bring happiness to man. And Christ knows it's not to taste the shit.
Oh,
fuck me. You make a smile, Dr. Lindeman's.
They're trying to make sound sophisticated. Yeah.
But you know what? Fucking Australian families of the 1970s would lap dish shit up. You'd go to any fucking barbecue or family party, and the fucking boxes would come out, and they'd be pretending that it's very nice. It's quite dry. Fucking fucking awful shit that'll make you pissed. You'll get pissed and you will drive home without a seatbelt because it's Australia in the 1970s. Fuck me, how did anyone survive?
Yeah.
Fucking, it was like running with scissors, only no one was paying attention where we were going. In fact, I think I'm going to call my history of Australia, AZ's an alternate history of Australia, running with scissors.
Yeah,
I think it's a good name for a history of Australia, running with scissors.
Pretty good. A big bad ad's just throwing in the cheery thoughts. Most of the people in that ad are probably dead. It's like, if they kept drinking Dr. Lynch, yes.
Because if you've got to think about chronic disease, right, the words chronic disease didn't pop up till the 1990s. If you didn't smoke or drink in the 1970s, you were various kinds of pufta, which was illegal.
Yes.
In a lot of states, definitely in Queensland.
I think that first stopped being legal in the late 80s.
It stopped being illegal in South Australia first in 1970.
Oh, that would be Don Dunstan, was it? Was it
Don Dunstan?
Yeah.
With his pink stubbies. Go Don. And then New South Wales went, and then fucking Northern Territory went.
Yeah, last cab off
stuns me.
Tasmania.
Sorry?
Last cab off the rank was Tasmania.
Was Tasmania, yeah. I always thought it was going to be fucking Queensland, and they went close. They tried.
Yeah, they were second.
I remember when I went up to Queensland on a business trip, drugs, and I fell in with a young man of ill repute, and he bade me to be very careful. And I said, I understand, the criminal nature of our exercise will get the shit kicked out of us. And he said, no, we'll get arrested and then we'll get the shit kicked out of us and killed. And, he was very keen for us to not even give a whiff of pork off, to the point where we had to be very careful about to go into the hotel room, 5-star hotel. You can do fucking anything in a Queensland 5-star hotel room. I promise you. Trust me. Oh yeah, but it's illegal. No, not a problem. Oh, but it involves murder. You're still sweet. It's fucking Queensland 5-star hotel. He was quite fucking adamant we couldn't. And years later, I've been told by those in the know, no, that was wisdom. That was fucking wisdom.
Yeah,
the girls in the hotel could have fucking dodged you in, and the cops would have busted that fucking door down. Give a shit. And if you were in delicto flagrante, off to the pokey you would go, and they'd give you some pokey, kick the fuck out of you, and make you die after taking all of your money. They were... Queensland was a very, very special place. Still is. But back then, very special place. Was basically run by hookers and thieves. It was just outrageous. The government was openly corrupt, like just openly. There's a guy called Russ Hinds who was running the gaming industry like his own personal bank account, and he died before seeing the inside of a jail. And everyone knew. Everybody knew. And it was only time they were starting to bring charges, and he just died. And it was like, Ross Hinds was going to get everything that was coming to him, and he didn't. He got away with a lot. And Joe pretty much got away with a lot too.
Yes.
He pretty much got out from under it.
He did actually go on trial, but he
did actually go on trial, but then it was all over. My ears are not going to get right. They're always going to be just wonky, like me. So the wines and the chronic disease of the time, because no one was thinking about heart disease. Heart disease was just what you got when you were 50. Everyone got heart disease when they were 50 because you died. At 70, that was it. You just, fuck, what are you going to live on the pension? Fucking ridiculous. And women went on until they were 90 because, they were good old peeps. Probably because they weren't fucking smoking, eating shit. And Everyone
Probably.
smoked, everyone drank, and everyone ate. Well, actually, here's the thing: everyone says, "Oh, Australians ate crap." Well, actually, no. Australians ate really well. We've always had pasture-fed meat. We've always eaten genetically modified grain. We've always had really good food. If you bother to cook it, you will be sustained by Australian food pretty much as good, if not better, than anywhere in the world. American meat will fucking kill you.
That's full of
It's
fucking hormones.
fucking terrible. It's basically born and bred in a fucking shed and fed on fucking chemicals and then killed by machines.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I did read once, worst job in America, cleaning the murder machines at a slaughterhouse, which are all just these fucking rotating knives and whatnot. And that's like illegal Mexican immigrants have that job. And they've basically got this high-powered hose with almost boiling water coming out of it, mixed with bleach, spraying into these razor-sharp blades that are everywhere, and which makes it a really unsafe working environment. And they have a number of fatalities a year from these workers falling into the knifey knives, which means if you eat American meat, there's a non-zero chance you're eating human.
Because they don't then fucking strip down the machines.
No,
they just give an extra rinse down and away you go. And what also stuns me, and I heard this too, I thought, fuck, that's a full-on process, that fucking bleach hot water clean, because I've done that myself. Because you got to strip out, clean down, then rinse down. And it's a fairly involved process. And I'm thinking that's a whole shift of an abattoir. Yeah. And no. It's a 3-hour process. And I'm going, how the fuck is that a 3-hour process? And now is because it's a one step. You fucking come in with the bleach and the hot water.
Yeah, it's just a high power hose.
Just fucking hose it down and piss off. Which means the first run of meat has bleach all the way fucking through it. For the first 30, 40, 50 beasts. Which means it's 250, 300 kilos of meat. Of processed meat is full of fucking shit. Well, who gives a fuck? Because it all is, and we don't care. It's prime. And anyway, you're eating dead Mexican. And like they don't clean him out; they just rinse him down. Yeah. And it's like, I thought, this is a fucking myth. This is a fucking urban myth. And then I went into it. No, it's not. It's a real fucking thing. Because one of the things that bothered me was I was having a discussion with a food activist and animal activist here in Australia. And they were telling me how terrible the food industry was and how terrible the factory farming is. And I was hearing about these processes, and I thought, I've never fucking seen these processes. I have never seen these processes. Hang on, I'd better do some fucking research, which means take a big bag of drugs and go around Australia, which I managed to do. And then I found that actually there's almost no factory farming in Australia, almost none, because it's way cheaper.
They keep trying to sell the farms off to Americans to turn them into the factory farms.
Oh yeah, but when you've got land at a low premium dollar cost, you can actually spread out your stock over a larger area, meaning that you don't actually have to as intensively build up your beasts. You can still have 600 beasts, but with the land being as cheap as it is, you can rotate the feed that it's on. And as long as you don't have a drought, you fucking just got to sit on your ass and wait till the cows come home, literally, which is sundown, by the way. And effectively, you then put it through an abattoir. The abattoirs in Australia are all set up for halal. At any time, they can switch over because halal beef is expensive beef, ladies and gentlemen. And in Australia, we love expensive.
It's capitalism.
And there's almost no factory farming here. There's a shitload of genetic modification in Australia because it's a really good way to make your farming cheap and your yields fucking huge. We've already talked about the Indian wheat crisis of the 1974, which was basically saved by Australian wheat seeds. Everyone in India was going to die. They were going to starve, and then Australia gave them very cheap wheat seeds, and they had a massive fucking yield, and everyone lived. Woo! And Australia worked out that there was a lot of money in genetically modifying food, and we've done that for a gazillion fucking years. We are very good at genetically modifying rice. We're very good at genetically modifying sugar. The other crop that was really hardcore modified was cotton, which was a shame because cotton's a disgusting thing to be growing in Australia, considering how much water it takes. That has led on to the genetic modification of the animals. Why would you bother to do that? Well, it's because in Australia there's heat, and you don't want to stress your animals because they don't build as much meat on them, but also fucking not as nice. An animal that has had a calm and relaxing life is actually way better at the table than an animal that's been stressed and cruelly treated. This is proven simply from taste to plate. It's that easy. You can taste animals that are freaking out. And Australian animals are mostly de-stressed because they virtually just go around and fucking eat and root, and then they've got to go for a ride in a truck. Also too, they try and make the abattoir processes here very less traumatizing for the animals, because if the animals don't have a massive spike of adrenaline, just death, their meat is way more tender. This is an important thing. It's an important thing for sales, but it's also an important thing for the future. You can't guarantee an industry where your animals are being treated cruelly. You just can't. It will change. People will not tolerate cruelty over the long term. And so the beef and sheep people saw this coming a fucking mile off and said to the CSIRO, we've got to fucking sort out this stuff. And so they genetically modified all these animals. And now they're way less diseased, they're way less stressed, they are way healthier, and they're way less stressed at the abattoir, which is nice. And the abattoir processes are way better than they've ever been. The stunning of cows is really good, and the stunning of sheep is really good. Taste the difference between WA cattle and Tasmanian cattle. Lifestyle makes a fucking massive difference. A fucking massive difference. And if you taste United States beef, it's a fucking experience.
That's good.
It's an experience.
I remember when Corey, Mr. Safety, was out here. He talked about being lactose intolerant. Like if he had a cheeseburger in the US, that was enough to upset his tummy and make him very sort of gassy and farty and whatnot. And he was eating cheeseburgers and stuff here with no negative effects at all. And I was going, dude, you're not lactose intolerant, you're fucking chemical intolerant. And that's what's your problem.
That's what's the problem. And this is the thing, and people tell me how terrible the dairy industry is, and I go, And I went around and had a look, and the baby cows ripped away from the mother. But no, they're not. They're actually left there with the mothers who are milked first. Then
you're going to get to a super big fight with an animal liberation type, but I'm guessing you don't actually care about that rightly so.
Well, no, this is why. This is why I went and had this little
very
bit of a look
about this story.
Well, this is
Adele,
it. This is why I went and had a look
yeah,
because
Adele's
it made sense to me that. Sorry,
Adele's. I'm just saying good night to Adele. She's saying she's too hot to focus. Got to lie in the.
love you, darling. Have a good one. But this is the point.
Before you go on, see this bright orange thing I'm drinking now?
Nice.
Well, I've decided to call this White Girl Wasted because it's got pumpkin spice chocolate liqueur in it, which is a stupid thing I bought last Halloween. And I think it's separating a bit, but, you know, I'll either die or I won't. I've kept it refrigerated, so it's probably okay.
It's all right.
But this has got tequila, white creme de cacao, the pumpkin spice chocolate liqueur, and grenadine. And in honor of the pumpkin spice part, I'm calling this White Girl Wasted. So
it looks nice, man. It looks nice. The what do we think? What do we think?
No, it is actually pretty good. I mean, like, it's got a decent whack of tequila in it, so it just smells smoky when you're doing it. But because it's got 2 chocolate flavors in it, the white creme de cacao and the bloody pumpkin spice chocolate liqueur. So you've got, you know, rather bitey tequila with some mellow chocolate flavors in there as well. And the grenadine takes the edge off the tequila as well. So
I was going to say tequila and chocolate is surprisingly it's a surprisingly normal mix. It's massive in Mexico. They do it all the time.
Yeah, the base I took this off was one that's called a silk stocking, and that's tequila, creme de cacao, pomegranate, and cream. And I didn't want to put cream in, but I thought, I've got this really creamy chocolate liqueur, the pumpkin spice stuff. So I thought I'd put that in. And
wasted White Girl Wasted. I like it.
Jeremy wants me to release cocktails. I am actually, in all seriousness, going to start a YouTube cocktail channel. I've started doing the prep for it. It'll be live sometime soon. And it will also have a web page and an Instagram. So my cocktails will be on that. And look, apropos of nothing.
And I might come and play sometimes in special things.
A few guests.
And we'll burn gunpowder in various different alcohols to prove it.
Proofs.
Do you want to do that? That'll be fun. Burning gunpowder in alcohol to prove it.
Show people what 100 proof means. Yes. So if you put a grain of gunpowder in anything that's less than 50% alcohol, the gunpowder shouldn't burn. But if it's more than 50% alcohol, that's 100 proof. That's gunpowder will burn. And that was a tax thing, and that's why that was invented. So by weird chance, it's the 50% alcohol that will light the make the gunpowder light. So that became known as 100 proof. That's why when you hear things about proof, it's always double the alcohol content. It's this whole thing about, will gunpowder burn after putting? You remember the Polish spiritus, which is 95% alcohol. I even tried that, because I did some herb infusions, and I did one with vodka, which is 35-40% alcohol, and one with spiritus, which is 95% alcohol. And then when I took the herbs out, and particularly the one in the spiritus looked like it had been cruelly abused. All the chlorophyll was just ripped out of it, and it had gone from being green to brown. You put a match to that one, and it went up like a torch. But try and light the one that was soaked in vodka, and it wouldn't light. So it is very different.
Mind you, the one soaked in vodka. Yeah. If you put that in a blender and then threw a bunch of matches in the blender, it'd virtually blow up. It's amazing. The different dynamics of fire and explosives are amazing. Sorry, mate?
It's terrible that that's clearly the voice of experience saying, oh, yeah, herb-infused vodka and matches in a blender and fucker explodes. I know, I've seen it.
It is terrible, and I did rather fucking tip my hand there a bit. And you've subtly pointed that out to me. AZ, you're sounding like you're fucking making the Anarchist Cookbook again. Yes. Can you stop we're going to be on a watch list.
Yeah.
So I was saying something fucking fascinating. Oh, I was talking about farms, and basically saying it was because of these conversations with animal activists who were very passionate and had no reason to bullshit me, that I actually went and had an actual look, and found that everything they were saying was right, as long as you were talking about UK or US farms.
Oh, US in particular.
US in particular, and UK in some versions. The big that was the big rip me up a little bit, because I was starting to get a little bit anti-farming, a little bit anti farming animal. But then the Australian pork industry will not allowed to bring any pork products into Australia at all. That's it. No, just no. And it's so that the pigs in Australia do not get, because a diseased pig in Australia must be euthanized immediately. They are not to be given antibiotics. They are not to be given antivirals. They are not to be left in pain in any way, shape, or form. Once known by the farmer or veterinarian that they are diseased, they are to be immediately euthanized. And the thing about pigs is they don't just do one pig; they do the entire herd, and it's pretty upsetting. But no, it's just they will not let their pigs be diseased, and this is very different from other farming nations who pig farming is fucking awful. It's actually quite distressing to see these pigs being farmed. They don't see sunlight. They don't move very much around at all. They have got like there's a very much production line about their life, and it's really awful. It's really quite distressing to watch. I didn't like it.
Tangentially, what you made me think about with pigs was Mad Max 3. For those who've never seen it, Thunderdome, the Bartertown run by Auntie Entity, powered by methane from pig shit. So there's all these pigs in the subterranean area, and in the making of, they had so much trouble getting the pigs there from two groups: the animal welfare group, who were actually relatively easy to satisfy, but then Oc Health and Safety said, no, this is really unhygienic, like all these pigs in, and like you're saying it's not actual pig shit they're running around in, you're just making it with mud and stuff, but it's unhygienic and it's terrible and you can't do it. And I think George Miller was virtually like, they're fucking actors, they'll be fine. They do worse.
Fine, they're fucking actors.
They do
get another one.
Pig shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But they had
they pay for that
thing where they walked onto set and like you never see the people's feet because they're wearing gumboots, and they had to walk through beach and going on and off set, and they were only allowed on set for 15 minutes at a time or something because Oc Health and Safety said it was too dangerous. Just so it's simple. It had the simple idea: I want to have a bunch of pigs on set, and it's actually really difficult. These days, the pigs would be computer generated. And
absolutely
it would be far less hassle to computer generate the pigs.
But even fucking Australia's farmers associations wouldn't let you have the pigs.
Well,
there's no fucking way. You're not having
welfare side. And the animal welfare side were relatively easy to satisfy. You just had to look after them. But the Oc Health people, hey, Robert Gonzalez, you're here for the last 15 minutes. Hello.
And you, sir, shall be hailed. Gonzalez, Robert Gonzalez is a person who's come in the last 15 minutes, what I often do.
Yes.
Because I can't get my computer to work.
You would last 30 minutes on Tuesday, so that's not bad. I want to show you something. I think you missed this on Tuesday. Some other people might remember this, but this is the wildest thing I've seen in a while. It's a very successful YouTube channel. It gets millions and millions of views, and it's so deep in what the fuck territory. And I'm going to show it to you, some screenshots of some of his video titles, which are surreal enough, but then I'll show you an actual bit of video, and it's just next level shit. So we got to share. It's on Twitter. The person sharing it said with "I'm having a stroke," but he does this video. My girlfriend Alexia died, so he's looking sad because his girlfriend died. 1 million views. Okay. Saying my last goodbyes, really fake-looking crying on an improvised shrine. 1.2 million views. Followed with dead girlfriend a Ouija board challenge at 3 a.m. Gone wrong. So,
fuck, that's pretty good.
And this is another. His gay potion. We kissed ordering a gay potion from the dark web at 3 a.m.
Awesome.
We bought a slave off the dark web.
Nice.
But no, look, here's his actual video.
Guys, I cannot get over her, guys. I miss her so freaking much. A ton of you guys actually been commenting on my videos to talk to her on the Ouija board, guys. A lot of you guys just want to hear one last thing from her, guys. So do I. I miss her so much. The last thing I actually said to her was, babe, can you pick me up some Popeyes before you come back? And
so he's clearly not serious. Like, that's some weird as fuck performance art right there.
It's not, and I love his fucking angle too. He's fucking really taking off that whole angle and that whole really shitty broadcast view. Was really cleverly done, is what I'm saying. He's using a good camera, but he's using really clever angles to go, this is another shit webcast. Go on.
Yeah, but it's like,
anyway,
that performative way he speaks, like, it's obviously not real. It's obviously performance, and the titles, but it's so next level surreal. What he's doing is just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, I love. The last thing I said to her was, "Could you bring me some Popeyes?"
Yeah,
that's what you're gonna tell everyone.
Yeah, but it's
great,
like
fucking great.
It's absolutely weird how obviously, like, he's not even trying to make it look real. Like, no one, not even Hannibal fucking Lecter level sociopaths act that way after their girlfriend dies. Like, it's so clearly performance art. It's just surreal. It's absolutely amazing.
I have, however,
but yeah, I just saw that for the first time the other day.
I have, as a guilty pleasure, been going around checking out the entitled r/entitled YouTube videos, and then I've been going and finding various different bits and pieces of what they're talking about. And one of my guilty pleasures has been going around looking at GoFundMe campaigns from the mothers of kids who have died, usually of cancer or something awful, who basically are then caught on Facebook living large on the money that they've been given through the GoFundMe campaign because their kiddies died. So this kiddies died and they've fucking taken all this cash and gone for a fucking party. And you think, oh yeah, once or twice to be a massive fucking scandal and no one to do it again. No. It's not on its own, and it's not fucking rare. I've so far seen about 15, and I just thought, the first 5, I just thought, this is fucking nuts. After 7, I went, I'm in a different plane now. I've fallen through a fabric tear.
Yeah.
And then, Fizmore, someone I saw on a chat log sort of thing, suggested there was 40 at least out there. And what it is these are people who've been caught, not fucking not all that's been done. These are people that have been caught. So you see them crying and jeeting over their, lost little one, or the sick little one. That's the other ones they were doing. They were like showing the sick kid. And then, in fact, what was happening, they were getting state funding for the medical, and then they were taking the fucking getting fucked up and going on the water skiing party. Another was the one was the big one was the jet skiing party that she had while she was on meth. And she was showing off on her Facebook all the shit she bought. What'd you say?
No, just you with the meth party on jet ski. As soon as you said jet ski party on meth, I'm just like, yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't even make that up as a joke. That was a thing that happened, and I just went, "That's special," because I heard it described, and I went, "Have you, good gentlemen, found Insane Parents?" I haven't seen it, but I'll have a read.
There's a few good
have a look.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I and then I kept.
All right, you're breaking up. Really
and there's this
bad.
whole subculture of people find
Okay, no, see, there's some delay between you hearing me say you've gone into silence and then you actually come back. But I think you're back now.
Okay, I know every now and again that I see a kind of lag, and then I see you speed up to catch up to me, or is it me catching up to you? It's what happens in relativity.
Time and relative dimension.
It's all fucking frames of reference, my son. Everyone's right. Lights traveling at the same speed everywhere. It's all frames of reference. So. Yeah, I've been looking at these things. They are fuck off insane. And like I said, you'd think after the first girl got caught, and what happens is that they do this stuff and then they post on Facebook.
Yes.
Right. And this is how all of them get caught. They post on Facebook straight away, look at my crazy party. And it's like the same people who fucking donated to them on their Facebook feed and go, what the fuck did you just do with my money? And it's like, well, I turned it into drugs and fun. What about your child? Don't give a fuck. Never did. It's probably why it's sick in the first place. And it's just this whole fucking subculture of really special individuals that I can see it taking off here in Australia.
Yeah,
we're often slow to take off, to take on trends. But I think the young lasses here in Australia could abuse the living shit out of their children, and then ask for funding. No, they couldn't here in Australia. It wouldn't work that very well because we've got a very solid welfare system and a very good healthcare system. So you wouldn't get any money for healthcare. You wouldn't get any money for welfare. So you've pretty much got no fucking you've really got fucking no motivation to do that. It's just hard work.
And some pretty serious punishments for fraud as well. So,
well, yes, here in Australia, they will kick your ass for doing stuff like that. Especially if it involves a child. Fuck, they'll go right through you. The court of public opinion is pretty cruel and harsh here.
It's pretty harsh, often far too harsh, but
often far too harsh. But
sometimes not enough. Like that, what's her name who faked cancer and said that her juice cleanse cured her cancer, and you should buy my book and whatnot. And she never. That was fucking evil. Actually preying on people with cancer, and I think. Yeah, if she went out in public much, someone would string her up from a fucking light post.
You don't do that shit in Australia because, you'll get your genitals fucking tied in knots. And that's just the ladies. Fucking, so the court of public opinion is very harsh. So if you got caught doing shit like that, you'd be in a lot of trouble. But the court of legal opinion is pretty fucking harsh too. If you fuck around fraud and children and fucking disease and death, they will fuck your shit up. And the thing about it is that prosecutors and defenders will fucking conspire to fuck your shit up, because if they look at you and go, you're a piece of shit, the Australian legal system is a really easy place for them to nod and wink, because it's really, really just an extension of the British legal system, which is all about the establishment. People say this is not me making shit up. It's the establishment keeping order over the masses. They mean that. That's not shit. They actually have said it. They mean the establishment. They say the establishment. This is not AZ's making it up. It's a real thing. And so in Australia, we have this system whereby a legal system can bring the fucking hammer down from very high and without mercy, almost arbitrarily. If they fucking say you're gone, you're fucking gone. You do have a very robust defence on your side, a very robust defence. Also, these days, there's much, much, much more emphasis on evidence and scientific evidence than there is witness evidence, much more. But the thing is, even scientific evidence can basically not be swung or swayed, but it can tell a story, right? It depends what scientific evidence I decide to find on the day. If I go there on the day and I think you've burnt your child, I can find all kinds of scientific evidence in that house, and you might need some of it for your defense, but I might not find that, right? And this is where it starts. This is where it starts. I might not find that evidence because I might just not have taken that photo, and then you get to court and the defense just might not fucking go after that evidence real hard. They just might not. And then the prosecution fucking puts the boot in and you're fucked. Because here in Australia too, you're not talking, when they say 15 years, they really mean 13 years. When they say 25 years, they really mean 27 years. And when they say 40 years, they really mean 60 years. Hang on, AZ, those numbers are going up. Yeah, because you see what happens here in Australia is at the end of your time, they're supposed to open the door and let you go, unless the politicians and the legal system at the time, and what happens is the legal system asks the politicians, please, we don't like this guy. We think he's a dog. We think he's going to hurt people because he's a fucking unit. Can we keep him locked up? And the politicians generally say, feel free. Feel free. And they turn around and they
let him out.
Sorry?
You just say he's still a danger. You say he's still a danger and you don't let him out.
You don't let him out.
I have to admit, you're giving me very dark memories of the English system, the Guildford 4 and Birmingham 6, Irish people.
Well, that's it. This is exactly it. It's the same system. If you fucking
completely innocent Irish people who were prosecuted during the Troubles, and they said, we just want them guilty, and said to the forensic people, just find stuff that we can say is used to make bombs. And the forensics guys went, every kitchen in the country has bleach and whatnot. And they said, good, excellent, perfect. And he goes, no, I mean, you could prosecute anyone. And the prosecution said, yeah, we're prosecuting this guy. So you just say there was bleach and there was that, and I'll be the one who stands up and said the reason they had that bleach that every fucking kitchen in the country has is to make bombs. So sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. And I was fascinated to read about Martin Bryant, the mass shooter in Tasmania that led to the crackdown in gun laws here. His court case would weird out Americans because his defense lawyer just sat him down and said, you're pleading guilty. And he went like, oh, no, I don't want to plead guilty. And he went, fuck you, man. It's like, no one wants this shit dragged out. The family of the survivors and the families of the victims don't need this shit. You're a fucking unit. You are going away forever. You are going to plead guilty to every single charge. We are not going to contest anything. This shit is going to be over. And this,
in a day.
Spent ages just basically convincing him, you are just pleading guilty, motherfucker.
And that's just his defense. That was his defense, basically going,
who said that.
Fucking cop to it. Fucking cop to it. You're going to cop to all 29. We're going to get this done in a day. It's going to be fucking over. You're going away. You're not getting out. And one of the things they used to convince him was they said, fucking cop to it. You'll get your own fucking private suite. And you'll be fed and it'll be a peaceful environment.
Yeah.
It won't be so bad. If you don't cop to it, if you fucking fight this, they will make sure you are in the most violent, the most horrendous part of the most horrendous prison in Australia. You will get raped and cut every day.
Yeah.
I promise you this.
But it won't be quick. It's
it won't be quick. It'll take 20 years and it'll hurt. He eventually fucking
does raise the point to say you've got these fucking lunatic conspiracy theorists who are fortunately a tiny fringe in Australia who say he didn't do the shootings, and the way his case was handled was
video of it. It's the Striver. He did it,
but
fucking you could see him doing it.
Yeah, but my counterpoint, and Stella makes a good point, that the conspiracy theorists use that as part of their evidence. But conspiracy theorists are fucking lunatics who, say the moon landing never happened, the Earth is flat, and like the Sandy Hook shooting where all those little kiddies got killed never happened. They will say their shit no matter what, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I remembered having a talk to someone once, and I was saying, you find 9/11 conspiracist and you scratch a 9/11 conspiracist and you'll find a racist. And and people said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I said, it all comes down to how can these camel jockeys living in a cave possibly fucking take down the cleverest and most militarized nation in the world? How can that possibly be? It can't possibly be. There's no way the sand niggers could have possibly fucking gotten to us. Yeah. Obviously, what it is that our government attacked itself. So they're more comfortable with the idea that they attacked themselves than with the idea that the dirty people got one over them. And that's where
it's super disturbing that they are more comfortable with that conspiracy than the reality that, like, you actually don't need a lot of resources to hurt someone.
You don't. Australia knows that. Australia's known that for fucking 100 years. Australia doesn't do war. We do interdiction. We don't fucking do fighting. We do fucking crawling around the back and poisoning your shit. Fucking Australia loves drones. Let's just fucking admit it. Australia loves fast jets, believe me. We've fucking got 100 of the ones that we can't afford now. We're getting fucking 200 of the ones we can't afford tomorrow. They'll be good though. Australia loves air power. Fucking loves the shit out of it. Because we've got a lot of area to cover in a short amount of time.
You want to move
and so drones are a good thing because they sneak around the back and no one can see them. And that's very Australian, sneaking around where no one can see you. And so you fly them around real high and drop shit off them, and then all of a sudden shit blows up. Fucking Australian military dream. So you can bet your ass that Australia's got a fucking gazillion drones, and that a lot of those young children in the Air Force are learning to be pilots of very special planes. And so you very quickly get a you very quickly get a mentality that look, Fuck! If I keep on going down this,
I'm going to bed anyway. So
if I keep on going down this line, it's just going to take too long to do.
exactly.
I was trying to tie it up, but it doesn't matter.
No, let it go. Let it go.
You're all pretty, and I like you. And
thanks everyone for joining us. Like Robert,
thank you very much for joining us.
Found my Facebook page, the Angry Aussie Facebook page. He's been watching through Facebook, so that was nice.
Cool.
Come through. So thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We've had a good time. I hope you've had a good time talking with us. I did not accidentally put too much absinthe in my drink tonight, so I'm feeling much better. It was a much more controlled experience, and I'm not going to wake up in the middle of the night of like 3 a.m. and go, "Oh, still pissed." So there's a really disturbing thing because I had that incredibly strong drink just before going to bed. So it hadn't even hit me. I went into bed and go, sleep now, patunch. And for a couple of hours, it just got stronger in my system. And then I wake up at 3 a.m.
I need a stick.
Brain just goes, I want to take a leak. And while I was lying in bed, it was fine. And then I got up and it was like, gonna have to talk to the landlord. All these floorboards are uneven.
The fucking house is on the sea. It's rolling. And it's bad. I don't like it.
The floor wasn't made of rubber before. Why is it doing that?
Oh, it's fucking children's toys. And they're large and they're singing to me. It's weird.
Yes. So thank you, fine and wonderful people, for joining us.
You're awesome.
Back
thank
sometime. We love hanging out with you. We'll do it again soon. But we'll see. Bye for